In this video, we're speedrunning through the World of Warcraft War Within PvP class tier list. PvP metas change fast, and you don't always have time to watch a full breakdown. This speedrun will give you a rapid-fire ranking of the best classes so you can stay ahead of the curve. I'll go over each class in lightning speed, covering their strengths and weaknesses in PvP. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe because I make this fast-paced content on my channel all the time. Let's dive in. All right, let's start off with the tanks. Let's get these bad boys out of here because if you play these guys in arena, you're a crackhead. Okay, so first up, we're going to go with DKs. Now, honestly, I'm going to give you my true opinion on this. Unholy DKs, S tier. Big damage, weakness, slower than your grandma crossing the road. Frost DK, I'm going to put this at C tier, man. It's not that good. You know, Unholy is a bit overtuned at the moment. They're very, very strong. Now that we've got the DKs out of the way, let's move over to Devastation Evoker. Honestly, Devastation Evokers have insane burst and great mobility, but the only issue is that they're very reliant on cooldown and they can feel very, very squishy. And as for that, I'm going to put Devastation at A tier. They're very, very strong at the moment in this current patch. Now moving over to Druids, honestly, Feral Druid, you can bleed people dry at this current patch. It's actually unbelievable. Their burst is amazing, and I know they sit in bear form half the time. Their bleeds are doing a lot of damage over time, and they do control the game quite well. So for me, Feral Druid is going to go into S tier. Moonkid, on the other hand, they've had a bit of sustain, and they've got a lot of burst realistically. I'm going to throw that one over at B tier. Moving over to Demon Hunter, the Havoc Demon Hunter is very, very mobile, very, very good for damage, but isn't as strong as it was in Shadowlands and in Dragonflight. But still, I still think they're hovering around B to A tier at the moment because I've played into a lot of Demon Hunters and they look quite good. Moving over to the Hunters. Now, this is a very, very self-explanatory one, okay? We're going to put BM at C, we're going to put Survival at A, and we're going to put MM at S because Marksmanship Hunters at the moment with their aim shots are actually unbelievable. That class, so much sustain and so much damage. They feel pretty much unkillable in arenas at the moment. Moving over to everyone's favorite, we are going to put Frost Mage at S because they are still very, very high in damage. They're untouchable. They've got like 2 blinks and they've got a displacement. They've got auto time. They've got 2 blocks. Frost Mages, pretty much unkillable in this current patch. Arcane Mage, on the other hand, we're going to go put Arcane Mage over at B, and we're going to go put Fire Mage over at C. Ret Paladin at the moment currently only has a few buttons to press, but they are very, very high contenders in the arenas. They do quite a lot of damage, to be fair, and they've got very nice burst windows. Seeing as what's above that and the other classes that are in play at the moment, I'm going to put Ret Paladin over at B tier. Now, moving over to Rogues, this one's a bit tricky because Rogues are in a very, very weird space at the moment. Assassination, on the other hand, I'm going to be putting at A. I think Sub will be at S tier. Honestly, I played into a lot of Sub Rogues and their lockdown potential is actually unbelievable. Everyone's saying Sub Rogues don't do damage, but every time I go into a sub rogue, they're literally popping all their cooldowns and they're doing either 2nd or 3rd damage in solo shuffles. So they're very high contenders at the moment. Outlaw, I'm going to be putting Outlaw at C tier. Shadow Priest, for all my Shadow Priest players, I'm going to be putting you over at B tier because honestly, the sustain from your class and the damage output from your class is amazing, but why not play Affliction Warlock if you want to play a dot class? Speaking about Affliction Warlock, we're going to be putting Affliction Warlock straight up to S tier. We're going to be putting Demonology over at C tier, and we're going to be putting Destruction over at A tier. As for Warlock, it's one of those classes that if you can play it super, super well, you can honestly dominate in arenas. Now, obviously for the Affliction Warlock and Destruction Warlock, it's not just about doing your damage. Like, you got to be able to use your pull, know when to wall, know when to use your defensives correctly, because usually, honestly, when you're playing at Warlock, you're getting trained all game. Now, for all my warrior lovers, we're gonna go put Fury at S tier. Even after all the nerfs and whatnot, Fury's just looking very, very strong, and we're gonna go put Arms at B tier. Shamans. Now, this is a very, very tricky one because Shaman, on the other hand, is getting a big buff and rework. Honestly, in the current state that it's at, I would put Elemental over at B and Enhancement over at B because whenever I go into a Shaman as a Windwalker, they get pretty much dominated every single time, which is kind of sad, but they do have good output potential, but it just feels like they're not in the best place at this current point. My beloved Windwalker class, where will I put you? This might be a bit controversial because honestly, I'm a Windwalker and it's going to be a bit biased, but honestly, over my 700 games played this patch as it is, I would put Windwalker over at A tier. Everyone's been putting Windwalker over at like B and C tier and whatnot, but listen, I think Windwalkers are in a great position at the moment. They do a lot of damage. They've got a lot of sustain. They've got a lot of like ability to get out of situations where they don't want to be in. Looking at this list at the moment, whenever I'm a Windwalker and I go into the classes in the top S tier row, it's a bit difficult. And anyone who's in A, B or C tier right now, looking at this list and saying that they've gone into an Unholy DK, Feral Druid, a Marksmanship Hunter, a Frost Mage, a Sub Rogue, an Affliction Warlock or a Fury Warrior, you are probably experiencing the same things I am with the fact that they are dominating classes at the moment. Enhancement. Now, for all my healers out there, I'm going to just do this one very, very rapid and quick. Preservation, S tier. Resto Druid, B tier. Mistweaver Monk, C tier. Holy Paladin, C tier. Disc Priest, A tier. Holy Priest, B tier. Resto Shaman, A tier. Now that this list is finalized, this is coming from someone who's played quite a lot of solo shuffle games and a lot of arenas this current expansion. Obviously, don't let this be the deciding factor of if you play this class or not. I'm just speaking off experience of what I've gone into and what I've played into and what just feels like it's unkillable, because I have 14 characters, most of them level 80, and I've been playing arenas for like the longest time I could remember. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video if you're new, and I'll be sure to catch you guys in the next video.